Now, coming up is our next team. This is Stasher from United Kingdom. Now, just a little bit about Stasher. They're a retail logistics company that connects travelers with local businesses that are able to store their luggage securely with full insurance. Now, you have 5 minutes. Jumpstart your dream.
Can you hear me? Yep. I'm Anthony. I'm one of the co-founders of Stasher, and you stole my thunder a bit, but yes, we're building the world's largest urban storage network, starting with a focus in the luggage storage niche. So that means that we sign up local shops and hotels around the world, list them on our platform, and then travelers can book, fully insured, to leave their bags with the local businesses for the day or even up to a few weeks. Our story started 4 years ago. I met my co-founder while studying. Sorry, one second. I'm not hiding my video. I met my co-founder 4 years ago while studying economics at Oxford together. We were actually roommates throughout, and after graduating, I was living between Euston and King's Cross, two of the busiest stations in Europe. And I always had people asking to leave their stuff at my home. It was at this point that we figured we would set up a platform and allow people to store with us. And after running that platform for a little while, we identified that short-term storage as an alternative to station luggage lockers was the opportunity that was ripe for disruption, and there were some core use cases that we'd validated. Airbnb guests who lacked a concierge or reception facility, and these are actually set to overtake hotel guests in the very near future, within 5-10 years. Hotel guests who had stayed in inconvenient locations, transitors, and people going to events, stadiums, and venues that did not permit bags inside. We also realized that as people needed to book on demand, it made much more sense to work with businesses as our hosts for the storage, with fixed hours and clear locations. Plus, businesses needed the ancillary revenues. So that's how we came upon our current business model. We vet hosts all over the world. Currently, actually, we're in over 250 cities. We list them on our platform and allow travelers to book fully insured through us for the price of £6, euros, dollars roughly per bag per day. And we split that 50-50 with the hosts. So it's actually quite akin to Airbnb itself. There's obviously also the ancillary revenue via upselling that the businesses can do to people visiting. There's increased footfall and increased online brand awareness. So this has quickly become quite a heated space, and there are several players vying to be the first to tie up big partnerships with the largest vacation rental managers in the world. There's a huge opportunity to not just dominate the core luggage storage market, worth several billion based on the huge number of vacation rental guests and other potential users annually, but the onward chance to use that network for other services, such as allowing logistics platforms to tap into it and access that network, providing other key vacation rental services, such as key exchange. So with that in mind, it begs the question, if this is able to move on, why is Stasher going to win this space? Well, as it stands, we actually already are winning this space. We're roughly a third larger than the next largest player, and roughly twice the size of the player after that. We also rely least on paid traffic. It's the smallest traffic source compared to competitors, which is famously a dangerous channel to be reliant on. So where is our traffic coming from? Partners. We've built relationships with some of the biggest and most trusted partners in the travel space who refer their customers at point of need and trust their customer experience that we can offer. There's a wide range, but particularly a lot of vacation rental managers, so people managing Airbnbs. We work with over 100 around the world. Some of the biggest ones you might recognize are Sonder, One Fine Stay, and recently Marriott Homes and Villas. But we also integrate with booking platforms like hotels.com. We've also started working with some large Asian partners, including a co-branding campaign with Klook and an API integration providing our service as a perk to Visa Korea and Shinhan Bank card holders. On the supply side, we're live in over 250 towns and cities around the world, having started in Europe, and we cover every major continent and partner with top quality brands. Over 200 Premier Inns are live, tens of Holiday Inns, and we've started a European trial with Oyo Hotels, as well as a bespoke API integration with Accor Hotels. As we grow, Asian markets, which have a huge tourist numbers and search volumes for short-term storage, are our core focus. Hong Kong specifically is within the top 3 to 5 cities in the world, according to search data that's available, and we already see great pickup in Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and Bangkok. Our main aim through this competition is to start to access that market. It's particularly important that we partner with top quality partners because we believe that trust and customer experience are foundational to the service that we provide. We think that customer and host NPSs are the best indication that we're adding value, and that's the best indication that we have a midterm business. We use third-party verified reviews so that we have an internal feedback loop guaranteeing that we do respond to any negative feedback and improve the process continually. As a result, we've managed to more than triple year on year whilst reducing our CACs by 33% and actually achieving unit profitability. That means that our gross profits have increased 10 times, giving us access to some of the best strategic and financial backing in the industry, including early investors in Trivago,
Please wrap
ex-C-suite
up
from
in one
Hotel.com.
sentence. Sorry.
No problem. Sorry, I wasted a bit of time trying to work out if this was working. But yes, ultimately, billions of people use vacation rentals every year. There's a huge opportunity to service them, but also add new services and service logistics providers with our storage platform. Feel free to ask any questions.
Thank you so much. Now, judges, it's your turn. Thank you.
Can I ask one question on the liability management? How do you manage the liability for claims, and how do you work with your insurer to protect yourself? And yeah.
So the system is actually structured very similarly to a hotel check-in. It's exactly what we modeled it on. So from an insurance point of view, it's no different to a customer who books online and shows ID to actually like access a room in a hotel. Any other questions?
I think it's there's a delay, so we might have to wait a few seconds. Any other questions from our judges? Please feel free. This is the time to ask.
Business and strategy.
Sorry, I think we didn't hear you for the last moment. I saw your lips moving, but then the audio wasn't coming out. So can you please restate your question?
You mentioned there's a competitors, number two.
Sorry, your mic got muted eventually. We still can't hear you. That's okay. Would our other judges like to fire their questions while he's trying to fix his audio on his side? Any other questions? Make sure you turn your microphone back on when you pose your questions. I think did I notice somebody was posing a question just a while ago? In case we couldn't hear you.
You can ask via the chat if the microphones aren't working.
So for the judges there, if there's a technical difficulty that's going on, we do have a chat function. So please do actually type out your question. So that'll probably solve the problem temporarily. I noticed because earlier I saw that the audio wasn't coming through. However, there were actually questions that were coming through. So please do take this time and type in your question at the in the dialog box. And again, due to the technical issue, so we will give that just some extra time just to repose the questions that you just had. So please put that in the chat box. We would like to hear your questions.
Sure. Okay. So some of the competitors mentioned mostly work with small independents or in fewer cities and started after us. I see someone asks security risks. Similarly, again, it's identical to hotel check-in. It's no different to if someone were to check into a hotel because When people pay online, there's a card fraud check. They have to show ID upon arrival, etc. The business model in Hong Kong would remain the same. So we would work with local businesses, shops, and hotels, and they would provide storage for travelers, and they'd receive a share of the price that the customers pay. Sorry, let me just see if I missed any more. How do you replicate your competitive position in Hong Kong and Asia? So I think an important part of replicating that competitive position is, one, being early to the market. In almost all Asian markets, there are no players currently established. And two, building relationships with defensible supply. So that would be a quality chain of hotels or similar such groups. Great. Is that everyone then?
All right. It looks like that's all the questions that we have. Thank you so much. That was great. Thank you very much to our judges' questions as well, which actually reminds me now, in case there's any technical difficulties due to internet connection or whatever it is, please do feel free to use the chat box to pose your questions. And also, if you do hear a feedback, it might be because you didn't turn off your microphone or speaker. So it might be something that's on your end as well. And don't forget to turn your microphone back on.